Yep, Charlamagne Tha God, the prince of pissing people off, the ruler of rubbing you the wrong way, the architect of aggravation, and right now you're watching Montreality. What up, Canada?
Yeah.
What's my story? I mean, I'm just a young black man from Moncks Corner, South Carolina. You know, born in Charleston, but raised in a small town called Moncks Corner, South Carolina. You know, raised on a dirt road. You know, I'm a very country guy. Came to New York in 2006 after doing radio for 7 years in South Carolina between Charleston and Columbia. You know, got picked up by Wendy Williams in 2006. That's what broke me into the New York market. You know, that's what I consider my big break. Well, I consider any positive opportunity my big break, because all those things that you think are small, they lead up to the big things. So, you know, being on the radio in Charleston, South Carolina, you know, I worked at 4 stations there, so that's what actually gave me the platform and introduced me to the game of radio, which, you know, caused Wendy to gravitate towards me, and, you know, rocked out with her for like 3 years. Then went and did my own morning show in Philadelphia. And then, you know, from Philadelphia back to New York on Power 105. Now, I forgot to mention that in between all of those different times, I've been fired 4 times, you know, for various reasons. Like the first time I think I got fired is because, well, the real reasons I've gotten fired is because when you're hired by a program director, the program director is like your coach. So the program director picks the players he wants. So when they get rid of the program director that hired you, they'll bring in other program directors who necessarily don't want you playing for their team. So when you're young coming up in the game and people don't really know what you can do, but you know, you show them glimpses of what they can do, but they be like, I don't know if he's the right player for me. Then, you know, that's when you end up getting fired. So the first time I ever got fired from High 98.9 in Charleston, that's what happened. They fired me like Craig and Friday. I got fired on my day off. I went to Miami, and then when I came back, you know, the new program director that they hired, Corey Hill, shout out to Corey Hill, that's my dude now. He's at Jam at 94.5 in Boston. They said that I told somebody to suck my big black dick on the radio. Now, being that they know Charlamagne, and the type of things that could possibly come out of Charlamagne's mouth, they automatically believed it. So, needless to say, I never worked at that radio station again, even though I had the #1 rated night show in Charleston at the time. But, you know, I don't believe that. I don't believe, even though I've been fired 4 times, I don't believe in firings per se. I believe in God moving you in another direction, and I feel like that's what he did to me those 4 times. Because every time I ended up getting fired, I got a better job. So, congratulations to me. Oh man, what type of student was I in the classroom? I was a terrible student. You know what's so fucked up about that? My mother's an English teacher. My mother's been an English teacher in the South Carolina school system for 33 years. She just recently retired. And I was a terrible student. I was a good student at first, but around 7th grade, that's when I started wilding the fuck out, because the best thing for me was I wasn't going to school in my hometown yet. I was going to school in Charleston. So I was like real smart, like smart to the point where they had me taking like French class in like 1st grade. And I was smart up until like 6th grade. And then when I moved to Moncks Corner, my hometown, like a lot of my cousins were thugging, country thugging. And so they used to pick on me for hanging around all the white kids and wearing glasses, and I had the fanny pack and all that. So it's just like, I just started to lash out. Like, not lash out in a bad way, but I was just a clown. Like, I was just always loud, you know, always disrupting class with a joke, always teasing people. So I would always end up in the principal's office, and then it would be funny because like all my family I was in school with, so when somebody used to get mad at me for teasing them and try me, they used to get beat up. So then I would get in trouble for that, for you know, fighting and jumping people. And so yeah, I was a bad student. I got expelled from Berkeley High School. I didn't get expelled, actually. I was about to get expelled, and the day I was going to get expelled, they just transferred me to Stratford High School because that's where my mother was teaching at. And I ended up I never finished Stratford because I got arrested. I got arrested for shooting at somebody. So I shot at this kid's brother. Me and my homeboy shot at this kid's brother in Goose Creek, South Carolina. And they came and arrested me from Stratford High School the very next day, and that's the last time I was in high school. So yeah, I was a fucked up student. I was a bad seed. I sold crack when I was a teenager. You know, I used to, my father was into construction. So I used to like help him out, you know, as far as building houses and stuff like that. But I didn't really start working until I got out of jail for the first time. When I got out of jail for the first time, I did a year in jail for assault and battery with intent to kill. The only reason I did a year is because my father was trying to teach me a lesson because I was such a bad kid. So he was trying to teach me a lesson. So instead of posting my bail, he let me sit in jail. And I'm like, I don't know, 16, 17 at the time. Like 97, 96, 97, yeah. So I didn't, when I got out of jail is when I started saying, yo, in order to change my life, I got to change my lifestyle. So I didn't want to hustle no more. And I never was no big time drug dealer. I was a quarter spoon dude. You know, quarter spoons, where I'm from, is 7 grams. You pay $250 for it, you flip it, you make $500. But when the first jobs I started working, I remember I got a job at this warehouse called IAC, Industrial Acoustics Company. I worked there, and I worked at a flower garden, and I worked at Taco Bell. I worked at Demo in the mall. I worked at a telemarketing place called Paragon Solutions. And the reason I was doing all that, because I always say, you know, you got to create the kind of energy that you want in your life. If you constantly keep creating positive energy around you, then more positive things will come. So I would be landing all these jobs. Like, I never was one that let my record stop me, my criminal record. And that's what eventually led me to get an internship at the radio station, because I was just working. I was working 2 and 3 jobs at one time. You know, at one point I worked at Demo in the mall, Paragon Solutions, the telemarketing agency, and interned at the radio station. So, yeah, those are the jobs I worked as a kid. The key to success, in my opinion, is positive energy activates constant elevation. That's peace. You know, contrary to people's popular belief, you know, I try to be as positive as possible. Like, I believe that my thoughts become things. So the things that I want to happen in my life, I constantly think about. The things that I don't want to happen in my life, I don't think about at all. And I really feel like gratitude is my attitude, because I didn't go to college. I don't have no degree. You know, I got a diploma in night school, and I'm from Mounts Corner, South Carolina. You know, I started off doing radio in market number 93. Now I'm in market number 1, and I really feel like the reason I'm in market number 1 is because I visualized it. You know, I brought it into fruition just by constantly thinking about it, and of course working towards it. I mean, I'm not gonna sit around and tell you that, you know, it's not like, it's like a psychic telling you, yo, you're gonna be rich one day. So you just sit around and wait to be rich. Nah, it don't work like that. You know, when you're constantly thinking about doing positive things, you gotta actually go out there and be working towards those goals. That's what I told you earlier about just going out and working at Taco Bell, or, you know, working at a warehouse, just trying to create that positive energy of production into my life. And also just being thankful for everything that I have. You know, I believe gratitude should be your attitude. I believe that thank you is some very powerful words. I feel like if you're constantly thankful for what you have, you'll get blessed with more. You know, when you're not thankful for what you have, what you do have, you'll lose it. So those are my keys to success, man. You know, the law of attraction, just constantly thinking about and speaking about what I want, and just letting gratitude be my attitude. Just being thankful for what I have, and that's how I've been able to acquire more. Oh, I love reading books. I mean, my mother was an English teacher. I grew up on the Book It program. If you remember the Book It program, you read 4 books. You know, you read 4 books, and you know you get a free pizza. So I was running through those Book It certificates. You know what I mean? You know what I used to like to read when I was young? I used to read Beverly Cleary and Judy Blume books, Ramona Quimby and Henry, and Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, and Blubber. You know, I used to read all of those books. And then, you know, I started reading, like, I don't know if you would call it science fiction, but I was real big on, like, Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster and just the unknown in general. So I started reading a lot of that type of stuff, like, you know, about UFOs and things of that nature. And then I started, you know, reading self-help books as I got older, you know, like Message to the Black Man and From Niggas to Gods by Message to the Black Man by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and From Niggas to Gods by Akil, and The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene. I just would just pick up these books and read them. Like, you know, like books like 48 Laws of Power might take me a few months to read, only because, you know, you'd be reading it and it's so in depth, and you go back and look up chapters and, you know, do your research to certain things that the book was talking about. Like same thing with Message to the Black Man. So I would really just absorb these books, and I still do to this day. Like, these books are still on my nightstand at the crib now, because I always defer to them. And then plus my mother was a Jehovah's Witness. So, and my grandmother was a Baptist. So I would always be reading the Bible, you know what I mean? Because I'd be in Bible study and stuff like that. So I'd always be reading the Bible and just picking up different watchtowers to read. So yeah, I'm a huge reader. Like right now, it's funny because I just finished The Magic by Rhonda Byrne. And right now I'm reading The Game by Neil Strauss. I don't want to tell you because I am writing a book. You know, I am writing a book. I'm writing a book. The title is done. The concept is done. You know, it's trademarked and copyrighted, but I still don't want to put it out there just yet. But I'm writing a book. I'm writing, and it's a self-help guide too, and it's a self-help guide for the hood. You know, and anybody's gonna feel comfortable picking up this book. I don't care if you like the newspaper is written on a what, 5th grade reading level or 3rd grade reading level. I'm not sure. I don't remember. I think it's 5th grade. But that's my book is gonna be like that. Like your daily newspaper that you pick up, I don't care if it's the Post, Daily News, whatever y'all read in Montreal, is usually written on a 3rd to 5th grade reading level. So everybody's gonna be able to understand and relate to my book, and it's just gonna be a lot of my politically incorrect views and potentially dangerous rhetoric, and just a lot of my ideologies on life, man. A lot of philosophies and things that I live by, things that I've learned that I will be able to convey to a brother who grew up like me. You know, or not even a black person, just anybody who grew up, you know, the way I kind of grew up will be able to relate. What do I think I was in a previous lifetime? I definitely was some form of communicator. I definitely feel like I probably was some kind of helper. I definitely feel like I was some kind of guide. So in the previous lifetime, I definitely feel like I was some type of guide, some type of helper. You know, definitely a person that was giving of themselves to help others. Because that's what I feel like I am now. I feel like I'm a public servant. You know, I feel like when you hear me on the radio or see me on television, I'm giving you something. You know, I think a lot of people misconstrue what I do. I think they look at it as hate sometimes. But I'm just a young brother with an opinion. And I feel like honesty makes the world go round. I feel like when you lie about something or sugarcoat something, it stagnates it, especially in the culture of hip-hop, the culture of music. Like, I'm not saying that my word is law, but think about how much whack shit we let fly. You know, how much, and not even just musically, but just the behavior of some of these artists we let fly. That's why I think the game needs referees, man. It needs critics. It needs cultural critics to be like, nah, that's corny, or nah, that ain't right. Like, nah, you shouldn't be living like that. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that's what I bring to the game. So I definitely think in a previous life I was some sort of help or some sort of guide. And I definitely think I've probably been misunderstood in every lifetime. So my last meal, I like Pizza Hut, man. I like chicken Alfredo pasta from Pizza Hut with the breadsticks and them honey barbecue wings. I like that a lot. You know, yeah, I'll probably be a home cooked meal from like the mother of my child. Like, you know, she fried some good chicken. Hate to sound stereotypical, but I like chicken. Not because I'm black, but because chicken tastes good. And you know, Matt probably fried chicken, mashed potatoes and corn. Some nice homemade biscuits. My favorite cartoon character is Wolverine from the X-Men. I don't know, I just always felt like Wolverine growing up. That's crazy, like I actually got a Wolverine tattoo. I got a Wolverine tattoo on my arm. This how high I used to get when I was motherfucking younger. I love Wolverine so much, I got a tattoo of him on my arm. I know, this look real jailhouse style. I got this way back, like 99. It was like 19, but Wolverine, cause he was like a loner. Like, he was a loner. He was definitely an individual, but he would rock out with his team. You know, he would hold his X-Men down. He'd hold his fellow X-Men down, even though he would sometimes fight with his X-Men or whatever. But they knew that, okay, he's down for us. And you know, I always was intrigued by the fact that he had the power to heal quickly. Cause I always say, man, in life, that's what hinders us when certain things happen to us and we hold on to those things. Like, you can't hold on to no hurt. You know, you can't hold on to no hurt. You know, whether it's mental hurt, emotional hurt, you know, spiritual hurt. Like, you gotta keep it moving. Like, no matter what happens to you in your life. Like I said, I've been fired 4 times. Or, you know, me getting arrested on numerous occasions, sitting in that jail cell. Like, you know, my mother and father getting a divorce. Like, you know, people around you dying, like, you know, you really got to remember your serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That's what helps you heal quickly, like, and that's how I always live my life. Like, yo, I gotta heal quickly, because guess what? Life moves on. You know, you boom, you grieve for a moment, you hurt for a second, but learn from that hurt and keep it the fuck moving. So that's what I always liked about Wolverine. Even though, you know, he literally could heal fast, you know, I figuratively took it as, you know, something that I could learn from. Like, yeah, you gotta heal fast out here to keep it moving. Any other talents? You know what's crazy? I don't even know if I would call what I do a talent. I just, you know, I'm just a brother with an opinion. I'm a brother with an honest opinion who's not afraid to express his opinion. You know, I do what countless brothers in the hood do every day. But they just don't got the opportunity to do it the way I do. You know, they don't have that microphone, or they don't get that chance to be on TV. So I don't know if being honest is a talent. You know, I don't know if living your truth is a talent. Like, that's what I do. I live my truth. When you live your truth, nobody can use your truth against you. It's nothing anybody can say about me that I'm not gonna say about myself. So, you know, when I get on the radio and I express that, or I get on the radio and give my honest opinion about whatever's going on in the world, that's just what I'm doing. You know, so I don't know if I can necessarily call that a talent. You know, Beyonce has talent. You know, Katy Perry has talent. I don't know if I necessarily have talent. Like, you know, Michelangelo had talent. You know, I don't know. It's a good question. Listen, I'm not a fan of new Lil Wayne at all. Like, I grew up in Charleston, South Carolina. I remember going to see the Hot Boys at the Music Farm when it was Wayne, Baby, Juvie, BG, Turk, Manny, when they was just wearing white tees and Rees, you know. So I mean, we've been bumping Cash Money for a long time. So I like old Lil Wayne. I love to see a person evolve, you know, and he's evolved into one of the biggest superstars in the world. You know, am I into it? Nah, I'm not into the skateboarding Wayne. That ain't me. I think recently his raps have been whack compared to old Wayne, but I have no problems with his I hate New York comments. Like, I got places that I hate. I got places that I don't like. You know, I think sometimes we have to ask ourselves, where did that come from? I think that if he would have said he hate New York and then stated why he hates New York, which it should be obvious to everybody, the guy caught a gun charge here. He caught a gun charge here. He had to come back and forth here to court. You know, he got locked up here for a year. I'd hate New York too. Listen, I don't necessarily care for Virginia. I'm not gonna go so far as to say I hate Virginia, but every time I go through Virginia, I end up getting stopped by the police for no reason. You know, tickets for no reason. You know, car search for no reason. I don't like going through Virginia. So I can understand where Wayne is coming from. And I know everybody's like, oh, this is the mecca of hip hop, and if it wasn't for New York, Lil Wayne wouldn't be here. Lil Wayne didn't say he fucking hates New York hip hop. He didn't say he hates the music scene in New York. He said he don't like New York. It's people in New York who don't like New York, who don't hang out here during the winter because they don't like the weather. Fab said it on the record. Fab said, I'm so NY, Weezy probably don't like me. His first 4 bars was like, define Diddy, you gotta go someplace else. Niggas is in Paris. Define 50, he's in Connecticut. Like, that's letting me know, like, okay, them brothers must not care for New York too much either, because they moved. You know, so it don't bother me that Wayne said that. Like, and this is coming from somebody who's not really a big Wayne fan, but I think that brother's entitled to his opinion, man. And people are entitled not to like it either. People are entitled to not like that he said that. But I think we making a big deal over nothing. And I think it was stupid for that guy to hold a press conference and say Lil Wayne should apologize. Man, there's way too much going on in New York that you could be holding press conferences for. Like, we need better schools in New York City. We need to find a way to make transportation more affordable for people. You know, them tolls is too motherfucking high. There's too many stuff that we could be fighting for and holding press conferences for, to be holding press conferences to ask Lil Wayne to apologize. Like, come on, enough already. My brother, appreciate y'all. Love that.